Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's we're going to be reviewing the new Kia EV9, and we are finally going to be driving the EV9. Before we get into this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Jerry Signer Kia here in Salt Lake City, Utah for giving me some time with this EV9. I'm going to include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. So the EV9 actually has a little bit of storage space up front, but anyways, let's get into the EV specs. We have a 99.8 kilowatt hour battery pack paired to a dual electric motor setup. Range with this particular one, which is the wind all-wheel drive, is 280 miles on a charge, and then we have 379 horsepower and 443 pound-feet of torque. Now, before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, really cool design. And by the way, I love this silver paint. It pops quite a bit, but notice how they've softened the lines for aerodynamic efficiency. And then popping down below, look at the headlight design. That's crazy how it goes all the way down. And then you guys can see with the parking sensors here on the front end. And sorry about my shadow, but anyways, there is the front end. Now around the side here, our tire wheel setup is 255, 60, 19 in the front and over in the rear. And you guys can see with the wheels mostly closed off for aerodynamic efficiency. I actually think they did a really good job with the wheel design. I think that looks pretty cool for an aerodynamic wheel. Anyways, you've got these big chunky fender flares. Then you guys can see how that continues along the side. Pop out door handles. And then notice with the trim that goes on the side there, and also I like the black accenting. And here is your full side view of the EV9. Definitely has that cool boxy design. And then take a look at the key fob. We've got the Kia logo there at the front, and then you got your lock function, unlock opening for the hatch here on the side, and yeah, pretty cool looking key fob. Now take a look at the cargo space. This is pretty typical for most SUVs of this size segment. Actually, it looks like it might be a little bit longer compared with the cargo space. Anyways, we've got this for the hatch, which I think is funny. You lift up a switch to lower down the hatch there. 12 volts. We also have a full outlet back here, and then you can see with the seats to fold them down for the second row. And then third row, they give you these nice little straps right here. And then it looks like there is more storage underneath. Anyways, when you're all done, you also have a traditional button up here to lower down the hatch. Really cool taillight design here with the EV9. I mean, look at that. And then you guys can see Kia and then EV9 down below. And putting it all together, let me guys think about the style on this, but for an electric car, this is really sharp looking. Now take a look at the door panel. You guys can see soft touch all over and down below as well. And I like this that goes across to the handle. And you got more storage right there. And then taking a look at the seats, you guys can see perforated all down the center portion. You've got all of your seat adjustments and everything on the side also here at the top as well. So that'll help us access the third row. Now the third row of the EV9 is pretty typical of most SUVs in this segment. You know, typically reserve it for kids. We do have some cup holders. This is nice right there. You got a USB here on the back. And the seats are actually really nice back here. Comfy. You've got this cool perforated texture all down the center as well. And then headroom back here, it's good. Now taking a look at the second row seats, again, really cool design, perforated all down the center. And I like the feel of the materials. And then legroom back here is really good. We also have a little storage pocket. We've got some cup holders here. We can adjust the front seat from the back, which is always funny. More storage down below. We also, of course, have a cup holder armrest. And the back passengers actually get their own sunroof. And by the way, the headliner in here is really nice to the touch. We do also have our own climate zone in the back. And I like the trim around the vents. That's also pretty nice. Anyways, headroom back here, also good. Now take a look at the front door panel. You guys can see again, soft touch all over. And then look at the trim that goes across. And then, is that for the heated steering wheel on the door panel? I guess, yeah, the heated steering wheel and heated and cooled seat controls on the door panel. Interesting. All of our window controls, you've got your mirror adjustments. They do power fold in, and then they do have blind spot monitoring. This is interesting, the mesh here with the front seat. And then you can see again perforated all down the center portion. Power adjustments on the side. And you got that for the front. You guys can see for the charging port release. And then the hatch stability control, parking brake. Now take a look at the steering wheel, soft touch all around. We've got paddle shifters in the back for the regen system. Bunch of practical controls in the front, like your voice command controls, volume controls, adaptive cruise control, steering assist. And then we have our four-wheel drive lock, which is interesting. We also have our drive mode select button on the steering wheel as well. And then your regular stocks here on the back. And you guys probably noticed we do have a column shifter as well. Big digital gauge cluster here in the center, and we can scroll through and see different bits of info. We also have our drive modes we can go through. It doesn't look like it does anything crazy for the drive modes other than, well, obviously change performance of the vehicle, but the gauge cluster looks like it stays the same. Now in reverse, we do have a backup camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel. I like how it turns on the driver climate tab when you put it in reverse. That is interesting, that's for sure. Now as for the rest of the infotainment system, actually it looks like it's up all the time. That makes more sense. Back to the rest of the infotainment system. Response time with it, I mean, it looks like as I'm pressing the different functions, it's quick to respond. Looks like it's pretty dang easy to use overall as well, just like Kia's normal infotainment systems. And I like that we have these shortcut buttons here at the bottom that you can press, so it's easy to access other features. And then the dash has nice trim. I like the overall design. And then you can see with all the vents here go across. And same thing with like the volume control, temperature, all of that. That's all pretty nice. And then you got a bunch of charging ports down below. And then normal glove box, nothing crazy happening there. And then look at all the storage space in front. And then we've got some cup holders here on the top of the center console. And yeah, it's kind of interesting how they've done this. Looks like we got a little fingerprint scanner. Auto hold here, hill descent control, camera systems for the parking sensors. And you guys can see with the wireless phone charging pad. And nice trim here on the center console. And then we do have a control here for the front center if we have a front sunroof as well. So here's a window sticker for this EV9, long range all-wheel drive, wind, all that kind of stuff. Pretty much everything's standard. Yeah, everything's standard. Total MSRP 65,620 on this particular one. And let's get an exhaust clip. Just kidding, it's an EV. Let's see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off here on the EV9. Visibility over the hood's great. You can see through both the mirrors, throughout the rest of the rear. Yeah, I mean, box design, there's a little bit of a blind spot in that one corner, but blind spot monitoring is always a thing to help out with that. Does this have the turn signal cameras? No, I guess not. I'm guessing the GT line's gonna have more of the cool techie stuff. But yeah, I'm super excited to drive this. So I don't think this might be the first driving review on YouTube. I don't watch other people's reviews, to be honest. I know it's bad. I probably should, but I just don't. But I do think I remember that Kia was planning on doing the driving review for all the journalists next year or something like that. And so this is probably going to be one of the first, if not the first, that's posted to YouTube with driving impressions on the new EV9. So we'll soak it in. And I've talked about the GT line. Jerry Seiner Kia and I are working on doing a review on a GT line I think in a few weeks. I can't remember exactly how long. It's coming in relatively soon. So when that one's in, we'll do a review on that. So first off, talking about how this drives, very smooth. Now most EVs are like that. The suspension's comfortable, right? You don't have as many moving parts and everything. It seems like it just always like smooths things out. But yeah, it doesn't have weird brakes. Obviously you got regen and everything like that, but the brakes don't feel weird whatsoever. So I'd see that as another big plus. And being fully electric, right, you get all the torque, all the horsepower right off the bat. And so the acceleration is very smooth because you just, depending on how far you progress into the accelerator pedal, will determine, you know, how quick things go. So you've got a lot of control. Really good over those train tracks. I'm super impressed. Let's see so I just did the paddle. I mean, when you do the paddle, you can, I mean, that's one pedal at that point with driving. These seats are really comfortable too. I like it. I like this. This isn't even the fully loaded one. I think they've done a good job with the overall feel, and everything feels tight. This is something I've been impressed with modern Kias and Hyundai as well, right? Same manufacturers, just how tight the interiors feel. Handling's, wow. For a big SUV, I mean, I'll get another kind of turn up a little bit, and I'll kind of like try to hold some speed through it so we can get like more of a real kind of feel for it, but it feels tight. It doesn't feel as big as it is. I'm really impressed with this so far. I'm trying to, normally I don't do as much, like, I don't show you guys as much of the driving with the filming, but since this is the first film or driving review that I'm doing for the channel, then I figure that give you guys as much quote-unquote seat time as possible, if we could call it that. Let's pop it into the sport mode. Ooh, instantly, like, so the throttle becomes a lot more, or not throttle, sorry. the accelerator pedal becomes a lot more sensitive right off the bat. I mean, it's a big difference, instantly perceivable. Yeah, so this is paddle. I'm slowing down all based on paddle. You can almost drive with the paddles when you're trying to slow down. That is interesting. That is very interesting. So I think we'll be clear here, and then yeah, we'll be able to get an acceleration with the EV9. Not bad. It's not insanely fast. Like, okay, compared to like an SUV in this segment, it's quick. It's quick, but like in terms of, you know, the like electric car world, it's not crazy, but that's not what the EV9 is going for. But it's, I mean, you compare this to like a lot of people are looking at this as an electric Telluride. It's quicker than the Telluride. Like the Telluride, it feels like it's got adequate power. This actually feels like it's quick. Well, we'll get one last acceleration and then cap things off. And yeah, the handling's so good. Wow. This thing drives so well for a 3-row SUV. I'm super impressed with the EV9. Maybe it's just because I'm a parent now, but this is my favorite electric car. I love how it looks. I love the interior features and the interior, and it drives so well. And again, I haven't been like the most fond of electric cars, but I think there's a pretty good case for a 3-row electric SUV, because you still have all the SUV practicality, but you don't have to deal with some of the annoying things like, you know, the slower acceleration with a lot of 3-row SUVs, and then the handling that's not so great. Yeah, it's impressive. Let me know what you guys think about the new EV9. Like I said, GT line review coming in the future, but I mean, this wind all-wheel drive, it's quite impressive with how this drives. If this is the future of EVs, I think I'm going to be a lot more about it.